Live. Can everybody hear me loud and clear? Yes, the recording is started. I can see people in the room. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all well, wherever you're joining us from. Welcome this evening to another Advancing Learning workshop. This one is especially for global stage teachers. So we have a few people in the room already. If they want to say hi, I'll put in the chat box. Everyone. Let's see if anybody is actually with us. Someone's typing, good. Noha, hello. Okay, so we are going to kind of crack on straight into it, I think, this evening. A couple of housekeeping, I don't know what you call it. I wouldn't call it rules and regulations. That seems a bit strict. But let's say a couple of housekeeping tasks to mention before we start. First one is, will there be a certificate? If you've joined any of the Macmillan Education workshops or webinars, you will know that you will get a certificate of attendance and a copy of the PPT as a PDF in a couple of days' time. This one is just for MENA, so they will be coming directly from me. So I guarantee that each and every one of you that is here now will get your certificate. So don't worry about that. You'll get it in the next couple of days when I get a chance. So that's number one. The number two thing is to introduce our lovely presenter this evening. We have Ola Refaat with us. Ola, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Nathan. How are you? Thank you for the lovely words.
I am very good. So Ola is the, hang on, I gotta get this right, because otherwise I'll get in trouble. You are the Market Development Manager for Macmillan Education MENA. Is that correct?
Yep. And you're not going to get into trouble. Don't worry.
Never get into trouble.
No.
Mohammed, this
No.
is being recorded, yes. And we will also share the recording afterward as well. So while Ola is warming herself up, we are going to be talking today about getting the most out of Global Stage. Now, of course, Global Stage is such a wonderful course to teach because it has, I mean, it's got everything you could possibly want in a very beautiful course. We're going to be talking about the dual approach. So this idea of using language and literacy together and how to go about that, how to develop our objectives, how to get the best outcomes out of our students. I thought actually to give you a couple of minutes, Ola, I've actually got a tiny video. Let's do a little introduction, shall we? Just so people know what the session is going to be about. So here we go, 1 minute and 26 seconds.
Global Stage uses a unique dual student book approach. It brings together a language program with an engaging literacy program. The language book focuses on the building blocks of language skills and systems.
Sorry, Ola, could you mute? Because I can hear the echo. Sorry.
Global Stage uses a unique dual student book approach. It brings together a language program with an engaging literacy program. The language book focuses on the building blocks of language skills and systems. For example, grammar and vocabulary. It gives the children lots of opportunities for exploring and practicing these systems and skills through listening, speaking, and writing. The literacy book focuses on literary concepts and the important development of reading skills. Things like talking about the meaning of words or their spelling, or reflecting on the meaning of the texts and other sub-skills of reading, say skimming or scanning, for example. The advantage of having two books means that you can decide how much language and literacy you teach. Having two books means that you can go deeper into the content and tailor it to your students' needs. With Global Stage, learners become confident communicators in English. They also systematically build literacy skills, self-direction, global citizenship, thinking, and social and emotional skills, which will enable them to become caring and responsible citizens.
Okay, just a very, very short snippet of a video just to get us all excited about the dual approach. And I know Ola's going to take us probably as deep as you can go into this idea of using the dual approach. Competent, confident communicators, and also competent in terms of literacy skills, understanding how to learn about texts, but also what to do with them as well. So I'm going to pass the baton over to Ola now. Ola, have a fantastic session, and I will be in the background. If anybody has any questions, please do let us know.
Thank you, Nathan. Can you all hear me okay? Can you type in the chat box if you can hear me? Good. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you. So welcome to this session. I'm happy to take you through a journey, if you wish, in the global stage dual approach. And we're calling it a sandwich for success because, well, I hope you're hungry, but we are following today a kind of approach that is similar to a sandwich. And we'll show you how in a minute. So take a look at these sandwiches. They look appetizing, don't they? Which one's your favorite? Type in the chat box. Okay, so yeah, I'm I felt hungry while preparing these slides. Well, these sandwich, as you see, they are really different. Some of them are you're yes, you're vegetarian, Haman, so you might like the Nutella one. So they are very different. They are different in flavors, different in maybe time of day when we can have whatever one of them, but in essence, they are the same. We have 2 layers of bread, nice, aromatic, fresh bread coming from the bakery. And we have the filling, which is what gives the sandwich its identity and its uniqueness, if you wish. And we are going to look at global stage, both books, just like we look at a sandwich. And let's see how. So on this slide, you can see different types of lessons. Can you type in the chat box what type of lessons can you see? For example, this one over here. What is this lesson? What do you think it is? Okay, type in the chat box, please, if you wish. So we can see here, this is how often does you, this is a grammar lesson. Yes, amazing. And we can see a vocabulary lesson, we can see a writing lesson, and then we can see speaking and take the stage. We can see fiction and non-fiction. This is literacy, story, exactly. And we can see a listening lesson. So which ones do we want to use first? And which one do you think represents the bread in our sandwich? And which ones represent the filling of our sandwich? Let's take a look. So a sandwich has 2 layers. The bread that holds everything together, that is stable for a child to hold, and it makes it really easy for them to eat by themselves. And at the same time, there's the filling that is delicious and that has all the flavor, the identity. And sometimes this filling drips very nicely into the bread and gives it its lovely flavor. So what we're going to explore now is the mixture of skills that we are going to use through Global Stage and how they form this delicious sandwich. So in this book, we have the basic skills that are vocabulary, grammar, and these form the top layer of the sandwich, which is the bread, which makes it very easy for the child to hold the sandwich. And we have a delicious layer, which is literacy, the comprehension, the reflection, the critical thinking, social emotional learning. These are the fillings. And then we have a lower layer of the sandwich, which is more grammar, listening, and then the productive activities, which we want the students all to really grasp and really become very familiar with. And this brings us to the question, how is literacy used generally in the English language classroom? And which of these approaches that are used in literacy does Global Stage adopt, and why? So after asking a lot of teachers actually and visiting a lot of classrooms, we have seen mainly a couple of ways of teaching reading. And remember that there is no right and wrong way of teaching. This is about exploring different methods and different ways and learning really what suits us as a school and as teachers and what is the most suitable for our students. So one approach is considers the reading as the main stimulus. So the reading in these books or in these classrooms is the main source of information and the main source of vocabulary and the main source of grammar. So what happens is teachers go through the reading in order to extract vocabulary, extract grammar, extract content, and everything revolves around the reading. And at the same time, the reading is the model of writing. So if the text type in reading is, for example, a letter, the writing will reflect that and it will become a letter as well. If the reading type is for older stages, let's say argumentative text or opinion, fact and opinion text, so the writing is going to be just like that. And when we looked at this approach, we felt that it's when we restrict the students to what they can produce and pitch the reading at this level, we are limiting their exposure. We all know that receptive language is usually higher than productive language. Well, not only with students, with all of us. So I can read much more complex language than I can produce. And the same with listening and speaking. So if we limit the receptors of language to what the children can produce, we are really, really limiting their exposure and limiting their experience. And again, there's no right or wrong way to do that, but it's just how the book is, how the book's philosophy works, and what we thought it was benefit the students of that have a higher, higher number of teaching hours and more opportunities to discuss with their teachers. And at the same time, in this model, the text is used to study language, and there is a risk of overanalyzing the text. So in such a model, we can see the book at the end looking like this. So the text is everything. The text is used to analyze grammar, analyze vocabulary, extract synonyms and antonyms, maybe text type, everything. So does this look familiar to anyone? We've all worked like that, and we're not saying that this is wrong, but it is really not what the philosophy of Global Stage is. The other model is actually separating the reading from all this and using reading as an expansion of the unit theme. So if the unit is about technology, the reading will reflect that, but it is not the main source of grammar and vocabulary and content, if you wish. Reading here is used as a thought-provoking tool and a way to engage the students and encourage their imagination and encourage their thinking skills, their social emotional skills. And here also reading is for pleasure. We encourage students to read, to enjoy reading, rather than look at it as a text that they should study. And this is what we did with Global Stage, actually. As you can see, these are extracts from the units that we are going to explore today. The illustrations look different. There is more space given to reading so that children can read higher level reading texts without being overwhelmed with cramped pages and a lot of text in the page. Illustrations, lots and lots of stunning, attractive illustrations to help students, even of lower levels, interact with text in a less stressful way. And it definitely encourages imagination, encourages reading for pleasure, and it's not completely separated from the unit. So what we will see today is how reading is integrated with the unit, how reading is used in global stage to enhance the experience, to add the flavor of the filling of the sandwich, and without jeopardizing also the contextualized ways of teaching grammar and vocabulary the way we always want to do. So let's begin our journey. After a lot of research, of course, I've done a lot of reading about this, and I've spoken to a lot of teachers. And the main objective they have for reading is that reading provides exposure, and reading provides the opportunity to explore the beauty of language and the beauty of words. Exploring different topics and different interests, and exploring different text types. It's not necessarily being the source of everything comes out of reading. And it actually seemed like this approach is more suitable to achieve these goals. So where should the teacher start? Why are there two separate books? Why is there a separate language book and separate literacy book? How should I use the books together? Is there one correct way to use global stage? And I'm going to start with answering the last question. No, there isn't one way to use global stage. Global stage was designed like that, so you can use it in any way possible, in any way that you can. Today, we're going to explore one way of teaching it. And this way we feel is actually safe for the students and stable enough for them, and at the same time provides a nice flow of ideas and a nice lovely topic exploration going on, as we will see in a minute. So why is there a separate book for reading? Any thoughts about that? What do you think? Why do you think we have separated the reading? Why confuse things? Okay, so everybody seems comfortable with the idea of separating the books. Yeah, someone's typing. It's awesome. So to give it more time, this is one of the reasons, yes, we can definitely give it more time when we have more pages to explore. Also, it is to give it more, also is to give it more space, is to give it more chances to explore the pictures, add more support for the students. So if a student is faced with a text of 100 words and it's presented through many pages, it is less stressful, and it provides this nice surprise of turning the page and looking at new pictures and really discussing the pictures and going through the layers of the text really easily. And so it is mainly for the students to be comfortable while reading, and also to give the teacher the flexibility of when they want to introduce the literacy, when they want to introduce the fiction text and the non-fiction text. And so they are not bound to use a certain order. To provide students with more language practice through the discussion of the images, yes, exactly. Through the discussion of the little comprehension questions that come across the text. It's absolutely a very good opportunity for children to practice more and think more about the reading, feel more engaged with it. And we also wanted to get them the feeling that this is a reading book, this is for your enjoyment. You can go back to it when you finished the school year, and you can enjoy reading it over and over again. Yes, exactly. So children get sometimes they get really stressed when they find a lot of text that they have to read in one go. So we have separated it really nicely, like you will see. So this is our sandwich. So we have here the first layer of bread. We have a vocabulary lesson and the grammar lesson. The grammar lesson is labeled Explore Language. And then we go through the delicious filling, the really, really nice identity and flavor and exploration of the topic through the reading and the literacy. And then our other solid and stable bottom layer of the bread, which has the listening, another grammar point, and the productive skills. And we really want this filling to drip nicely into the productive skills. So reading is not the model for writing or the speaking, but we want some of these juices to slip, to find their way into the production, as we will see. So, like we said, there's not one way correct for using global stage. Some people prefer to start with the filling and not have a top layer of bread over there. But we find that especially for younger children, it is more stable and more supportive to give them some tools to hold before delving into the reading. So without further ado, let's explore this unit from level 2, unit 6. And it's labeled, what does it do? So here, the first thing is vocabulary. And how does the book introduce vocabulary? In global stage, it's done slightly differently. So because we're not using the reading as a context, we needed to provide a context for these words. So it's not like we're teaching them computer, screen, tablet, keyboard. It doesn't go like that. We need to provide a context first. So first, the students are going to discuss the picture. Then there is a lovely story going on there. If you have taught this unit, you will know what I'm talking about. So there's this child chatting with his friend, or her friend, I think it's a girl. Yes, and describing what's going on in this hall. And then there's this little baby that has mommy's mouse and has the alarm clock. So it's really funny. The audio is really funny, and the students can really listen to this while focusing on the humorous part. When the students focus on the main scene and the meaning and the story behind all this, they are not worried about remembering the words right now. And yes, maybe in this lesson, the words are familiar, a little bit familiar. Most of the children are going to know what's a mouse, what's a keyboard. But in other lessons as well, in other units, it's always a very nice story background, a very nice audio, a monologue or a dialogue that the students can engage with, interact with, and we help them by posing really nice comprehension questions. So we're not asking them about words at this moment. We're asking them to get into the story. And after they have interacted with the story, it's time for them to learn the words. And this is an extract actually from level 6, because I know that some of you might be teaching upper stages. So we're introducing some examples from an upper level as well. I think this is level 6. So, and I've chosen this because it has the same topic, and it's about online and using computers and technology. And also, there's a very nice story behind the vocabulary introduction. It's not just vocabulary, it's not just words. So there's the gist question, and there's a focus on the main scene before going into the vocabulary. After this context, so everything in global stage starts with meaning, starts with a meaningful context, and then goes to the specific language that we want them to learn. So after that comes the really nice drilling thing. And drilling is important. What do we mean by drilling? Does anyone know? What do we mean by drilling? Type in the chat box, please. What is drilling? Someone's typing, but it looks like my internet is really slow. So practicing spoken language over and over. Yes, exactly. It's the over and over bit. It's the repetition. And when we have children repeat the words, we help them with pronunciation. We help them with confidence. But how do we make drilling fun? Of course, through the book, the children are going to listen and label the words, and they're going to really focus on each word now. And then we need some drilling games. So a very nice way to drill is actually to use a voice-o-meter. If you use this in the classroom, so if you have this part in your classroom, you can point at the voice that you want the children or your younger students to say the word with. So what's our word here? Alarm clock. So if I point at the red one, they'll go alarm clock. And then I point at the blue one, which is a really soft voice, and they would be like, alarm clock. And then I can even point below the blue one, and they can say it without a voice. And varying these voices, it can be really fun for children to do this drilling. Another way also is to say it with different feelings. So imagine that you have to wake up really early for school and you've had a late night and your grandparents were visiting you and you had a lovely night with them. You came home late and you slept late and you have to wake up. So how would you say alarm clock? You would be like, alarm clock. How about if today is a trip day and you just can't wait to get up and the alarm clock goes off, and how would you say it? Alarm clock, yay! So it's only a matter of helping them drill these words. And you, in the teacher's guide, in your enhanced teacher's edition, you will find many ways to drill the words before going to another meaningful activity. This is another game that you can play on the Navio practice app, and it's you can show actually all the words and then have the students close their eyes, then hide two of them, and then they will need to guess which ones are hidden. Also, these are ways to help the students pronounce the words and say the words over and over again. So in repetition is important, repetition is good, but it doesn't need to be boring. It doesn't need to be repeat this word 10 times. We can play around with it. And in the teacher's guide, I'm sure you're going to find tons of ideas about how to drill. So we have drilled the words. After that comes the visualization. And this is actually one of the activities that helps the children relax, helps them really focus. And I'd like to know actually from you guys, since all of you are using Global Stage, have you tried this visualization technique? How did it work with you? How did the children like it? It worked great. Great to know. So, yeah. Well, actually, I was really happy to see visualization done in Global Stage because we used to play these games with each other, with our friends, and there was this game that someone played with a group of us, and we were supposed to close our eyes, relax, and imagine. So it went like you're standing up facing a house. And then every one of us would imagine what the house looks like. And then you're walking towards the house. Look around you. What can you see? And every one of us would build the picture bit by bit. And then we would go straight to the house. In the house, you can see a glass of water. So we would picture it. Where is it? Some would picture it on the table. Some would picture it on the floor. And then we'd go out again and we would see a horse and then a water surface. And then, so it's like a story and each answer has a significance. So as adults, we enjoyed playing this so much. Here with children, it's like, close your eyes, relax. Okay, keyboard. So the child have their eyes closed and keyboard. Put your fingers on the keyboard and they would start imagining that they are on a keyboard. Type your name. I would type my name, imagine on an imaginary keyboard. And then they say keyboard. So these activities, they might look like they are not very useful, but they really help you relax the children, and they actually enhance their imagination and have them really think about the words and imagine using them. After that, after the visualization, And believe me, the students are going to love them. It might be difficult at first. You might want to actually ask them not to speak, and it might be intimidating for them. Be sure to make it fun. It doesn't need to be very stressful. It doesn't need to follow the rules. You can try with two or three of the children and have them in front of class and have them visualize and imagine with their eyes closed. The other children will get the idea eventually. After that, step 4 in vocabulary, we have the categorizing. And this is where the children really think about the words and really categorize them into two sections. And the book really guides you to do that, so you don't need to think too much about it. But you can do a lot of extension activities. This is the categorization for the higher level, level 6. So it's a little bit more complicated, of course. And then you have some extension activities in the teacher's book. So in the beginning, we have context, the nice story, and then we have individual words, and then we have drilling, visualization, categorization. This is how the book organizes it for you. You can use the drills as games, like we've discussed, and you can use other games for drilling, like the connected whisper, for example, or like what else? Maybe playing games like run and touch, where one of the children will say the words and another group of children would run and touch the words. Things like that are really useful for drilling. Yes, broken telephone, the same game. Yeah. The chalk talk game, this is for categorization. It's where you can put some pieces of paper with one word. So each piece of paper will have one word. And the children would go around the classroom and write or draw anything that comes to their mind that reminds them of this item. So, for example, if it's a mouse, they can actually write the word computer. They can write the word work. They can write the word whatever comes to their mouse. Really, they can actually draw someone working with the mouse. They can say that they don't use the mouse. Maybe we can have the children in groups, and then they can discuss these words and list any number of words or ideas that come to their mind. So all of these activities are in your teacher's guides, and you can explore with them. All this is important because vocabulary is the main tool for students to start to express themselves. If they have nothing but vocabulary, they can still get by. So no matter how simple we think vocabulary activities are and how basic, they are really important for the children to think about words in order to start putting them into sentences later. Okay, then the grammar. And really, grammar in global stage needs its own session, but we're going to go through it really quickly for now. So just like we did with vocabulary, what did we do with grammar? We are presenting it in context. So let me ask you a question. Do you have a friend who never answers their phone? I have one. I have a friend who actually never answers her phone, and it makes me feel really angry sometimes. And it's not because the story says so, but no, it's not you, Nathan. You always answer your phone, but it is okay. You all know who I mean, but let's not say her name right here. And whenever I want to contact her, I have to type her an email. And so, yeah, I found this story really funny. So, grandpa here looks really angry, and his grandson is trying to help him because his friend never answers the phone. So, grandpa wants to send him an email. So, actually, the grandson is suggesting sending him an email, and then grandpa says, "I don't know, Luis. I rarely use the computer. Do you use the tablet?" Well, grandma and I often. So it goes like that. Here, we want the students to really focus on the story and really focus on the meaning and the humor and the lovely part of the story without ever teaching the grammar at this point. And we actually want to ask them comprehension questions. So, questions like, why is the boy helping his grandpa? Because the grandpa doesn't know how to write an email on the laptop. Is this usual? It's really, it makes more sense that the grandpa, the grown-up, is helping the child, but here the child is helping the grandpa. And children really like to explore these ideas, and please let them enjoy the story and let them interact with the story before teaching the grammar. Actually, children at this point, they can start using the language that we want even before learning it. So when I say never and I shake my hand, and one of the children replies with the word never, I don't stop them. I don't say wait until we explain it. We let them explore with it. And at this point, we are focusing on meaning. So my main focus here is the meaning of the story and what the story makes them feel like. After that, in the next step of the inductive approach, we start focusing on form. So the focus on form here goes because the children have listened to the story a number of times, and they have really interacted with the story and laughed at it and enjoyed it. They would go back to the story and they would fill the grammar table themselves. If at this point the teacher needs to help them, they are more than welcome. This is the focus on form time. This is the teaching time. This is where we really help them form the sentences correctly and think about the order of the sentences. Why are they written like that? And help them fill this table on their own. So here the children are kind of discovering the rule on their own. But yes, we can help them do that. We can push them to focus on form and practice this. After that comes the part that we all like, the worksheets. Here, at this point, they are still focused on form and they are practicing worksheets. Also, we have some drilling in the grammar where the students listen and start saying the grammatical sentences. And it's really important also to make this drilling fun. So saying these sentences also with different emotions, imagining situations and letting them express these emotions. So if you're boring, how would you say that? If you're tired, how would you say that? You never use an alarm clock. You may be fascinated. You never use an alarm clock, or you never use an alarm clock. So it can be done the same way we did the vocabulary. And the students can write the sentences, do the workbook, do the worksheets, and really practice. But is this our goal of teaching grammar? Is this the main reason why we're teaching grammar? Our goal goes beyond that. We don't want the children to learn how to solve tricky grammar worksheets. We want them to use this grammar in reading, in speaking and in writing, right? So in each grammar lesson in global stage, we drag them back to a meaningful activity. So here, now this is a drill, and before going to meaning, so we can actually help them drill by this very nice game, hold the sentence. So we write the sentence on the board and then we start erasing bits and pieces and train them to say the sentence alone without a mistake. This is to acquire a language habit and to really get used to the form and how the sentence is composed. So we can add more sentences. This activity really helps them with their memory and helps them with their understanding of how language goes when they repeat it many times. So it's a form of drilling as well. Then here we get them back to meaning through a productive activity, focused on meaning and focused on genuine ideas. So here we have How often do you watch TV, Ali? I rarely watch TV. So they go around and ask their friends, and at this stage, we don't want to accept sentences that are not true for the student. We want to encourage them to really use this grammar to talk about themselves. And in each and every lesson and in each and every level of global stage, you will find that these activities are really meaningful, and it encourages the teacher never to accept sentences that are not true. So in order to encourage children to use true sentences, there's this little game called Two Truths and a Lie. So here I have three sentences on the screen in front of you, and two of them are true and one of them is a lie. Can you have any guess which one of them would be the lie? So I often play video games with my friends on my PlayStation. I always use my computer to work, and I hardly ever watch TV. Which one of them do you think is the lie? This is about me. This is about myself. 3 is the lie. The first is the lie. Why did you assume that, Muhammad? I might be good at PlayStation. You never know. 1 is the lie. 1 is the lie. Yeah, you're all right. 1 is the lie. I don't know. I wouldn't know a PlayStation stick if I see one. I've never played PlayStation in my life. No, I do have the time. I'm just not interested. In this activity, when the students are focused on finding one lie and finding one thing that can be funny, they are focused that the two other sentences are true, which is our goal. What we want is the students to think about what they want, really try to convey meaning through the grammar, and not just come up with correct sentences grammatically just because the teacher wants to hear them. So when one student in my classroom says, I always wake up at 6 o'clock, I don't care if the sentence is grammatically correct. What I care about, is this true? Are you trying to tell me something? Are you trying to share with me something about yourself? And the list goes on and on. You can use this game with many other grammatical structures. You can use other games that you can make sure that the students are actually telling the truth. You can, with older children, can we play? Yes, Nathan, please. Can you tell us two truths and a lie about yourself? So let's see what is true about Nathan and what's a lie. Nathan, make it difficult, please. Don't make it as easy as mine. One, I have always only ever used Samsung products. I have an Apple Watch, but I rarely use it. Sorry, that was 2. Okay. I never owned a smartphone until 2020. So everyone, which one do you think is the lie? I would say 2020. That's no way, Nathan. Probably 3. Some people are saying 2, some people are saying 3. I vote 3. I'll give people a minute. Okay. That's fun. So the correct answer is, drum roll, no way. No way. You haven't owned, you've never owned a smartphone until 2020?
It's true.
Why,
I've never.
how old are you, Nathan?
Yeah, too old. So the first one is actually is false. So the correct answer would be I've always only ever used Apple products. I've always been a MacBook user since I left school. So that one is the wrong answer. I do have an Apple Watch and I rarely use it because I always forget to put it on. And the last one, I've never owned a smartphone until 2020 is true because I was always given them for work. So I always just use them as a work phone. And last year is the first year that I actually bought my own. So before that, I used to use the old school Nokia phones as a personal phone. And then I would use the smartphone that we got from work. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Well done for guessing it right.
Well done for everyone who guessed it right. And this
A little
is
bit of fun.
tricky, yes. By owning a smartphone, we'd assume that you know, um, yeah, I didn't think about the work thing, to be honest. So yeah, it was a tricky one, but it was fun. And our brilliant student Nathan here used the grammar correctly. He made us laugh. Everybody laughed, and it was a happy activity. Thank you for that, Nathan. That was really cool. Not a techie guy. So, with older students, you can actually use more and more games to help them really use the language in a meaningful way. So we have here this extension activity from the teacher's guide, and this was the lesson about present continuous. And you can do a lot with present progressive and present continuous when you practice them. So one of these activities right here is close your eyes, imagine your happiest moments in school, even if it's school is finished, we're going home. So the students will just close their eyes and imagine themselves doing something they really like at school, their favorite moment. And then they can draw this and show it to their friends, and then their friends would guess what is it. And the fact about thinking about their favorite moment at school really brings this to life and really get them thinking about something that provokes a very positive emotion for them. um, it's different from what are you doing now, mime something and just say it. It's really about thinking and delving deep into their emotions and everything that they like. For older children, actually, you can use grammar to make these small poems. So maybe, well, on top of my head, you can ask them to write a poem using three always, two sometimes, one never. So they would be I always, I always, I always, I sometimes, I never. It brings grammar really structure makes really nice poems if you try it. Many things that you can come up with, and it is essential to end the grammar lesson with a meaningful activity, something that students can really connect to and really feel that they are sharing something personal with you rather than just practicing the form without real meaning. And you will see how this will lead very nicely into the coming activities. So here, the example from level 6 is, I think this is the past perfect or the past perfect progressive. Show a photo, say when you took it, what were you doing, and how you feel when you look at it. I really love this activity because it brings up so many emotions really. And sometimes when we look at pictures, it stirs these memories and these emotions. We have different types of feelings when we share photos with other people. So when you use something like that, and bring it into the classroom and have the students really talk to you about these feelings, it really brings grammar to life, and it makes it very interesting for them to share using the language. And this is what we want at the end. Yes, Nathan. Yeah, we'd be interested to see the options that they got from this activity. So let's remember the objective from grammar is to use correct form to communicate meaning, not to be able to solve tricky grammar tests. There's a big difference. It's okay to tell the younger students which tense to use. There's plenty of time for them to choose the correct tense when they grow up. So, as long as the book does not ask you to do that, the syllabus does not ask you to do that, please do not confuse them by asking them to choose. Should I use present simple or present continuous? Should I use past or present? Should I use, just teach them that this is how you express something that happened in the past and let them explore with it. It's not a matter of teaching them keywords and making them solve problems and looking for cues and looking for tricks to solve. It's about expressing feelings. So at the young age, we don't really recommend too much tense comparison and structure comparison. Let each structure take its shape, take its form, and become meaningful to children. And there will be plenty of time later in their later study years to explore tenses and compare tenses, know when to use will and going to, when to know when to use present continuous or present perfect or present simple. It doesn't have to happen at a very young age. So um, slow it down a little bit. The more meaning you give grammar, the more students will use it later in speaking and writing. So let's all remember that and really think of grammar as meaningful. Um, a lot of teachers get very enthusiastic about focusing on form, and they come up with really nice poems. So in order to help children with form. So last, we used them with simple past. This kind of, well, I personally would prefer to use the grammar itself to create poems that are meaningful and leave these things till the children are a little bit older to compare tenses. So I just wanted to share this thought with you, and let's move on. Now it's literacy time. Now the students have their vocabulary, have their opening topic. They have been exposed to some aspects of the topic in vocabulary and grammar, and they are ready now to go through a journey of reading and enjoyment and real thinking. They don't need the text to introduce the grammar and vocabulary for them. So the text here has the same topic. What does it do? And as all the literacy lessons start in global stage, it starts with this activity that is the visual thinking routines. And here, what is the visual thinking routine in this lesson? Can you actually see the screen? It's see, think, wonder. So see, think, wonder is a sequence of brainstorm activities, if you can call it that, and where the children at step one, they just state what they see. I see, I see, I see. They're not allowed to say anything else. I see, I see, I see. They just list down whatever they can see, whatever they can see, all the details, everything. And this really helps students who are slower focus on the picture, and they will come up with something that they know. We often in picture discussions we find that more quicker students, they start thinking and they start coming up with questions and they start discussing the pictures before the others get a chance to really talk and really say. And it really helps organize the thinking process a little bit. So after that, what I see, what I think, what do you think this boy is doing? What do you think? So because this was designed for children, I want to share with you something I found on Facebook this morning. Have you ever seen this one? This picture? So yeah, I just saw this this morning on Facebook, and the question is, who is serving who the tea? So the green person or the red person? So what do you think? What's your guess? me think the red guy, Muhammad, is serving the tea. Yara thinks the green guy is serving the tea. What makes you say that? What makes you say it's the red person or the green person? Because he's younger, maybe. Red is serving, green is serving. The teapot is facing the direction of the green guy. So what does that mean, Nathan? Well, yeah, when I saw this, it really was very interesting for me, and um, means the red is serving. Well, I honestly Googled it, so I will not claim that I figured it out on my own, but it's the green guy that is serving, simply because if it were the red guy, the green guy wouldn't have reached the tray, you know. So yes, the green guy is serving and he's about to push the tray. And when I was thinking who was serving, I started wondering, why are they doing this? Why on earth are they giving each other tea on a tray through the windows? Lockdown, so well, it makes you wonder at what time this picture was taken. Was it really a lockdown after COVID? Was it why didn't they visit? Was it something that they did every day so they didn't feel that bothered to visit anymore to give each other tea? Many questions would come, and this really reminded me of the see think wonder activities in global stage, but this is more adult like, and this is in Italy. I think it's in Egypt. I do think they are Egypt. I don't know really, but yeah, imagine. And which floor are they in? It makes you wonder which floor are they in. But what I think is that they are really neighborly. They like each other a lot. They get along well, and yeah, the poor people below. It looks a lot like Italy. Well, I haven't been there, so yeah, I don't know. I assumed it was Egypt, but that's what it was, an assumption, and this is the real point of doing such activities. No assumptions. Everything has to be justified. So yeah, I just thought of sharing this with you guys. And let's go to the reading. So, like we said, the reading is spread across 6 pages, and each turn of the page is a lovely surprise. The children have very little text and huge illustrations, really stunning. And this is about an inventor who invents things. And let's go to the lesson objectives. What does it say here? The objective is simply to read a rhyming story about an inventor. You need to appreciate the rhyme, appreciate the rhythm, and know what it's like to read a poem. To explore social emotional learning, self-awareness by recognizing limitations and strengths. So if we go back to the story, this little girl is an inventor, but her inventions aren't always good. They aren't always working. Like this crazy mirror. So something's not quite right. It's changing all my clothes. Oh no, I have long purple hair and a big long nose. Um, so this is here is more than just a funny story. It gives the children the idea that yes, this girl is really creative. She does her own inventions, but they are not always working. So what happens when she doesn't succeed? And the story keeps going on, and she tells that she keeps on thinking until she gets it right. And here's where the children will get thinking and will begin to put themselves in her shoes. Um, I love this part about mom says, my room's a mess, but I don't like to clean. Here's my new invention. It's a big cleanup machine. So it's not preachy at all. It teaches children that yes, we know some children don't like to clean, and it's okay. And this is why this lovely little girl invented a robot to make cleaning easier for her. And maybe we can ask the children, well, if you're not inventing something, and if you really don't like to clean up your room, what can you do to make it easier? So we start helping them to think that inventions help solve problems, and these problems are real and we all have them. We don't like to clean either, but we invent ways to help ourselves clean a little bit easier. So the reading, the fiction, it goes with a similar sequence across the units. So it's the title, pictures, genre, reading the text as a whole, and then working through the words in context. And really, there will be another session, a detailed session for literacy. So here we just want to give you an overview of what the experience is like, and a very brief description of how the literacy lesson goes. So it has first reading, second reading, third reading. Each one of them have their own objective and their own reflection, opinion, social emotional learning, where the students really engage with the text, not with the aim of remembering events, not with the aim of remembering words and studying vocabulary and grammar. The text does reflect some of the vocabulary and grammar, but not all of them. Reading for just detailed personalizations. We're going to go into all of this in detail, because we said there's going to be another session dedicated for literacy. But I just wanted to show you how social emotional learning works and how all this meaningful practice in the beginning really pours into this wider thinking opportunity. So, like you said, so here, do you think she likes solving problems? She's very happy with her inventions that can help her. So inventions solve problems. And this goes with the nonfiction reading, which is when you have a problem, look for a solution. And this is where the hexagon pen was invented. So the texts are written in a way to help students explore, think, reflect, with the help of the teacher, of course. And this is what the text from level 6 looks like. Oh, gotta love this stunning illustration, really. And it is just a comic story about a girl whose friend got into trouble, got into a problem, and how this girl really thinks to help her friend, and of course also the social emotional aspect of it. Let's see. So also 6 pages, and the lesson objectives here. Also, understand and analyze urgent methods through reading comprehension activities, then explore social emotional competency of self-management by displaying grit, determination, and perseverance. So it's not just remembering the story, it goes deeper than that. So my takeaway from this part is, let's really focus on the lesson objectives. What is the objective of the reading? What do I want from the students? If I'm showing them an argumentative text, do I really want them to list the advantages and disadvantages of something, or do I want them to recognize that people have different opinions? Keep it engaging, meaningful, and fun. And the idea here is not try to facilitate the lesson. Do not try to explain the lesson or come up with easier ways to help children know the facts. So I'm not after helping them study who invented what and when. We are exploring together how to read about inventions and what each invention solved as a problem. And they don't need to remember it. They are more than welcome to go back to the text during a discussion to support their argument and support what they want to say. So keep it engaging, meaningful, and fun. Each page turn is a lovely surprise, so keep it like that. And definitely encourage going back to the text and real discussions. Sometimes during the discussions, and it's mentioned in your teacher's guides, there is no correct answers, and students need to learn that from a very young age, that no, it doesn't have to be a correct answer. This is your opinion, as long as you can justify it. So after the literacy, we have gone very deep into the topic. They have explored some reading, they have reflected, they have done a lot of thinking. It's back to bring them back to time to bring them back to the real world through this listening activity. And the listening activity in global stage is called the Global Citizenship Lesson. And really, here it's about understanding that we live in a wider world and accepting each other, accepting differences. You will see that this lesson shows children from all over the world doing things that everybody else is doing, but in different ways. It teaches students to accept each other and at the same time understand their position on this in this world. So it combats bullying, it combats biases, it combats a lot of preconceived ideas about others and about themselves as well. So we want the students to accept others, but want them to accept themselves and understand that they don't have to be a certain way to be accepted in this world. They don't have to imitate anyone. They have to cherish and appreciate their culture and their beliefs and the way they do things, because everyone is different, but we're all alike in the wider scope of things. So the lessons in the global citizenship are always about things that happen around the world and the students comparing them to their real lives. And if you see this lesson, it's about, of course, it has the listening skills, that listening for gist, listening for detailed comprehensions, and stating opinion. But at the same time, it shows, let me show you, a student from Bangladesh and a student from the UK. Which one of them have technology in their schools? So here, so this is Akash from Bangladesh, and this is Olivia from the UK. And the students might assume that the student from the UK is the one using technology in school, while the student in Bangladesh wouldn't have technology. And this is such a stereotype, because once they start listening, they realize that it's actually the other way around. And here, the listening is about how technology is used differently in schools around the world. And the lesson is classified, it's staged. So it's listening for gist, then listening for details, then stating opinion. Discussion, comparison, again, opinion. So how does the book do that? Through an opening question. So how is technology different in schools around the world? It gets them thinking about the concept. And then listen to the talk. Does Teddy school have technology? So this is an umbrella question. This is listening for the main idea, listening for gist. Then they start listening for the details. This is when they listen to number the words and listen to mark the words. And here, this is another activity set, actually, another vocabulary set that has the same steps as the first vocabulary set. So context, which is the listening here, then visualization, drilling, then visualization. So the listening activity really covers all this together, and it's meaningful as much as it's staged and well designed for listening. So here's where you will see the nice effect of the literacy when it comes to listening. So you will find these links. You will ask them if they can think of any inventions that would be useful for their school. And really here we got from the reading the idea that inventions solve problems. And now they are going to be thinking, what problems do we have in school? And so what might be the right invention for our school, and what problem will it solve? So it's all coming along now nicely, how the literacy affects how they respond to the listening and to the speaking and writing, as we will see in a minute. So this is a brief of the listening. Back to real world from the nice adventure with the literacy. Context, which is the listening before vocabulary, it's always like that. It's the context first, then vocabulary. The context, then the grammar. Literacy experience can enrich discussions and opinions, and all the opinions are accepted as long as they are justified. The magic word is, what makes you say that? I think that we need a robot to clean the school. What makes you say that? I think computers are not important in schools. We can learn without them. What makes you say that? I think computers are important, extremely important in schools. Again, what makes you say that? Again, let me remind you that listening activities are not the speaking models, just like the reading activities are not models for writing, because they are much higher, because they are receptive skills. Okay, so now we have reached the productive activities, and the first productive activity in global stage for the lower level is the speaking. In the higher level, it can start with the writing or the speaking, and in global stage, it is one lesson a presentation and the other lesson a conversation. So it's either take the stage or communicate. And here, what do we give the students as a model for the speaking? We give them a speaking video where the students can not only listen to the model, they can see it as well, because there is so much that they can learn from watching. They can learn the stance, the confidence, the relaxation, the hand gestures, and how the child really explains what she wants to say using body language. So the speaking activity starts with a preview and prediction. So we actually do that. We play the video, stop, and ask the children to predict what they are about to hear. What is she going to talk about? What do you think she's going to say? What do you think her opinion is? Then they watch the whole video, and we ask them one question that is a generic question, listening for gist, just like we treated the listening lesson. Then detailed listening, we ask about each detail, we pause and ask them to highlight sentences that they hear, as you'll see in the activity itself. What we want them to do here is to really start thinking about what they want to say. And the key part here is insist that they say a genuine message. So think about technology you like, choose two and complete. It's very important that they choose the ones that they really like, and they start talking about their own opinions. We are providing a base for students who are still struggling with language so they don't feel intimidated. But then there are other expansion activities that can really help children who are more capable to add sentences to this. So here, technology laptop, it has a screen. You can find information. I draw pictures. This is the minimum. Another student might say, for example, a laptop is better because it has a big screen. A tablet is better because it's small and light. So they are free to express anything that they want and say whatever they want, as long as it comes from their own thinking and their own opinions. So here, the tip that comes in your teacher's guide says, if students have chosen laptop, which is the same as the example, tell them that they must fill in their own ideas and not just the answers that came in the video. So it's really important that they're encouraged to say their own thing and express themselves truly. And this is why we have kept the productive activities really supported and really simple. It is because if we don't get this right from the very start, if we don't get it right from a young age, students tend to memorize answers, and students tend to look for right answers no matter what they feel. So in the young age, our focus is to really encourage them to express themselves with simple activities and not overwhelm them. It's absolutely fine if you find that a student is more capable, but a student who is struggling need this support and need to have a simple activity that they can produce. And yeah, their production is going to look really nice, and it's going to be nice, and they're going to feel really good about themselves once they do it. The second productive activity is the writing. So this is what we said: focus on the lesson objective. Um, Speaking is important. Speaking is important because they express their opinions, and in each lesson there is a speaking skill. So the skill in this lesson was to speak clearly. So we need to focus on that. Did I speak clearly? Did he speak clearly? Provide models, provide even wrong models. So have the teacher, you must speak clearly. So and the students will recognize what speaks clearly means. So our focus should be the genuine message, genuine opinion. This is a speaking activity. So while the students are preparing their presentation, they can do some writing, but it doesn't mean that they should stick to what they have written. They can say other things, just like we are doing here in this presentation. So I'm using the PowerPoint to help myself remember what I want to say. And this is what we want our children to be able to do. Everything the students have experienced in the literacy, in the grammar, in the vocabulary lessons, all the games, all the drilling, all the meaningful grammar activities will come along really nicely in the productive activities. Happen if we give a lot of time to that in the beginning. The speaking will come very naturally, and they will be able to express themselves in a more meaningful way. The last bit is focus on the lesson objective. The speaking skill is important, which is speaking clearly. And in other times, it will be use pauses, take a breath, speak loudly, pronounce correctly. So each lesson has its own focus, and it's important to focus on this particular skill. And last but not least is the writing. And just like we did with the speaking, we provide the children with a model. And before the model, we need to look at the objective. So the objective here is to review the use of periods, full stops, and question marks. And the meaningful thing is we want them to plan and answer a survey about their use of technology. So here we ask them to practice a little bit, full stops, question marks, review this part, and then we give them a model. So it's a model, then discussion, then replying with one word, and then writing the final product. In the young ages, it looks something like this. So here, my school has a cafeteria. They write one word in order to help them focus on their ideas and generate them. Then they start putting more information. So this is actually the differentiated piece. So here we have a limited number of questions. My school has, do you use, how often does your dad use, my grandma has a, and then we give them more. What technology does your family use? And for more capable students, we can add questions like why? Why do you use the tablet a lot, not the computer? Why is the mobile phone your favorite piece of technology? So the more we find the students capable of doing this, we can add more and more to the writing. But the basic is this: answering the questions and getting the a paragraph. This part is the and this will appear in the differentiation session later on also. This is how we support students who are a little bit slower. So here, this student can only write one word to complete the survey. And we can be happy with that as long as they express their own selves. Or we can use this as a scaffolding technique. So at first they complete this, and then we, little bit by little bit, we start giving them more to write, more to do. we can remove pieces of the sentence and let them write more. And by time, they are going to be able to write the paragraph on their own. Let's be careful here, because the aim is not for the child to memorize the paragraph and being able to write it. The aim is for the student to be able, first, to come up with the message that they want to say. Second, being able to compose the sentences on their own and to convey the meaning. But because the message is the more important part, we have to allow these children to express their opinion, even if they don't have the language tools yet. So here they are participating, they are sharing meaning, they are sharing what they like, what they prefer, and sharing their personal experiences, even though they don't have the capability of composing a sentence yet. Um, so there are different levels of how we want to do this. The standard one is just giving them these questions to start with and have them write a paragraph. A challenge piece is to give them more questions, let them think about the reasons why, and teach them the words why and because. And the option for the slower children is to give them this worksheet and have them participate with their friends without being too much behind, if you say. So for writing for the younger students, it's really important to be realistic in what you expect. It's because children, if you overwhelm them with something they are not capable of doing yet, they will just memorize and study the paragraph in order to give it to you. We don't want that. We want to work our way gradually to help them do that. And again, all the reading that they did will start dripping into their writing. All the discussions, the meaningful, fun discussions will start showing in what they write. The fun way that grammar is taught, that vocabulary is taught, will start to show eventually. So no need to worry about that. Differentiation ensures that each student practices with real messages about themselves, and encourage going back to the text, encourage going back to the literacy book if they want to find a word, if they want to find an idea. This is not a memory test. This is a way to help them compose and write. They will remember the words eventually when they have used them long enough, but it's really important that they are not stressed in order to try to remember things. For the upper stages, it's the same thing. We give them a model, and this model is a reading text about fact and opinion. So we want them to write an article. It's called a fact-based opinion article. So they are writing their opinions, but they are basing it on facts. And this is where we give them the model. So we're giving them a model after all, but not in the reading text. We're giving them a model that is just at the level that we want them to produce. And we help them analyze the model. First, they read for gist. As usual, in all the models, in all the context that is provided, the reading happens for the main idea. And then the students start to analyze the text. They start to see where the opinions are stated, and they start to fill in these mind maps to help them compose their own article. In the upper levels, actually, there is a very good strand of process writing that is, it was over there. Generating ideas, process writing, so generating ideas, which is brainstorming, then using an article plan, then the final product, and then read and respond, where students read to each other and start giving each other ideas. The steps are there, and again, writing and process writing and planning and all this need their own session. But we just wanted to show you how this approach, how using literacy in the middle will really help students use all this experience and all these discussions in their writing later. So for the older students, task achievement is your main aim. So if I'm asking the students to write an opinion article and one student comes up with a really well-written piece about the topic, but it's not a fact-based article, it is not what we want. So no matter how correct the structure is, no matter how amazing the ideas are, they are not the main task. So this should not be accepted. So the main idea is, has the student answered the question? Have they put their thoughts into a meaningful structure? And then we start looking at the structure, we start looking at the grammar and spelling and the article plan and all the mechanics of writing. But the message is the main aim. Each writing lesson in Global Stage has a specific focus. We need to make sure that this is covered before asking the students to think about other things. So for example, if my main focus here in this lesson is to present facts, give details, examples, and opinions, I shouldn't be overwhelming the students with other things and ignoring this. So this is covered first, and then if the children can take it, we can give them a list of criteria. So make sure you use adjectives. Make sure you mix adjectives and adverbs. Make sure, so whatever I choose, we choose things to help the students be focused and really think of previously taught skills while they are doing a new skill, but while not ignoring the new skill. And again, the main aim is the meaning, the ideas that the students share. And this is where literacy comes in the middle and affects how they talk, how they feel, how they write, how they express their opinions. And it will all come together very nicely at the end. I've been talking for a very long time now. I hope everybody's okay. And it was such a big sandwich. And it's time for dessert, right? So remember that all of these tips, all of these strategies are in your Enhanced Teachers Edition ebook, which you will find in the Navio, in your Teachers Resource Center. I hope you're using it because it has much more than the print teacher's guide. It's really helpful. It has lots of tips, lots of extension ideas, lots of differentiated learning instructions, and everything that came up in this presentation came from this Teacher's Edition. If you have any questions, please feel free to type in the chat box. And yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I hope you didn't find the sandwich too big.
It was a tasty sandwich. I enjoyed it. It's so comprehensive, and it shows, I think, just what you can do with Global Stage. You know, it's such a rich resource. It's got so much there for students and so much there for teachers. If anybody does have any questions about anything to do with Global Stage, please do let us know. This is your chance to ask us. We'll give people a moment, shall we?
Yeah.
While people are maybe thinking of their questions, I do have one thing that I would like to follow up with. If I can go back to this. What is this? Can I get rid of it? Yes. Okay, good. Before everybody leaves, I do want to mention Will's face here in blue, and the winter fair that we've got coming up this Thursday. So we've got a cute little video. Look, it's a minute long, so let's just play it.
So, 2021 is coming to an end.
And what better way to celebrate the year's end than with us at the Macmillan Education Winter Fair on the 16th of December at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. UK time.
Louise, Greg and will
be joined by David Spencer, Alicja Gałązka, Shihai Wan Idek, Nuzarila Hoffman and Ben Crystal
to explore topics such as theatre in the classroom,
emotional awareness through drama,
and making quizzes an essential and motivational tool.
We'll be there with our woolly hats on once again and can't wait to close the year with you with a big snowy celebration of fun, theatre and, as always, learning.
I can't wait for this one myself.
It's gonna be amazing, and it's all around drama, theatre, the arts. I will put in the chat box the link that you can go to register, but the link is there on the screen as well. So we have multiple ways. You can even put it in the top here.
Yeah,
it's there in the chat box. So go and click on that link. Go to the Winter Fair and register for the event this coming Thursday. That was my announcement that I wanted to make at the end. And of course, we will send out the certificates for this training session, this workshop this week as well. Ola, thanks very much. I haven't seen any questions come up in the chat box yet, but we'll hang around for a few more minutes in case anybody wants to stay and ask any questions. But I will leave you to it. You've gone on to mute now.
No, I haven't.
Oh, showing you as mute.
No. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, you're there.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us. We know it's a Saturday afternoon or evening for you all, so it's been a real pleasure to have you all with us. Ola's mentioned a couple of other global stage events, which we're going to be doing. We've got 2 or 3 more workshops coming up. We're planning on doing 1 per month. So there'll be 1 in January, 1 in February, and 1 in March. And they will cover topics such as literacy. So really getting into the literacy book and thinking of creative ways of using the literacy book with the students. Another one is around assessment for learning. So we're going to look at how to build assessment into our teaching and learning, not just use it as something at the end of a topic or end of a unit or end of the semester, but actually embedding it and using it as a feed forward tool. So we're going to do assessment for learning. And then I think the other one we're going to do that you mentioned is going to be around differentiation. So thinking about different types of students, not just language level, that kind of low standard and high achieving, but different types of the way that students learn as well, and making sure that each and every student can access our content, our teaching, and perform to the best of their abilities. So they're the 3 that we've got coming up. They're all going to be related to Global Stage. They will be the same crowd as what we have here today because it'll be a private event just for you guys here in MENA who are teaching with Global Stage. I think I've covered everything. Ola, is there anything I've missed?
Nope, you've had it all, right? And it seems we don't have any questions. So I really hope you guys found it beneficial. And see you in the next event.
Yeah, see you all soon. Thanks very much. Thank you, Ola.
Thank you, Nathan.
Give it a wave.